Oscar, what's the difference between conventional teaching and what you're preaching?
Okay, the way I'm preaching, really, I didn't discover something new. It's the way the top players played. If you go back 60 years, there were some players already were playing this way. Today, the majority of the players are playing open stance, which means that you play in the most natural position possible. You don't think of your feet, because if you think of your feet, you take away from your hand-eye coordination. So teaching the feet is one of the problems, because it draws the player's attention towards their feet. And that could happen to a pro, and this game can be ruined. So you need to realize that moving in speed on the court is actually losing your balance. You lose your balance, and then the body goes. You don't want to move your feet first. Then you're kind of leaning back.
So it'd be equivalent, trying to teach someone exactly how to step. For most people, it'd be equivalent to teaching someone how to run to catch a ball like a football. You wouldn't necessarily think about your feet. You're thinking about catching the ball, and you're just going to get it.
Right.
So it can really hinder what you're doing with your hands when you're thinking down there.
Absolutely. So the first thing to do from a beginner to a pro is don't distract them with the feet. You can create drills, like we had one with a cone moving around like this, that will give you a natural way of moving. But you should not make the player focus on the feet, because otherwise he's also more tense. He's not so relaxed as when he's just not thinking and just moving the way he learned when he was 2 or 3 years old. And that is actually the way the pros play. They're not thinking of the feet, they're thinking of their hand and the ball and where to meet it, to find it, and where they're going to put it. So that is the main difference. I really want to emphasize that.
On Federer's forehand, he's hitting it so hard and so penetrating, but yet he's got so much spin on it. How does he keep the power and the spin? How does he meld those?
Very easily. He comes to the ball very slow, and when he gets here, he's not trying to accelerate with the ball. He gets to the ball and pulls the racket across. The Chinese actually have researched this, and they say it's a double hit. But it isn't a double hit, because the ball doesn't leave the racket and comes in contact with it again. It's just that it's going in the strings as he's accelerating sideways, like this, across the ball.
So his top spin is not going on top of itself, it's actually more on an axis.
Yes, it's an axis this way, and the ball curves that way. When he hits the inside out, the ball, you can see the ball rotating.
Absolutely.
He has almost as much side spin as he has top spin, which is incredible. In the cross court, then he has more top spin than side spin, because he is hitting the outside of the ball a little bit. But the key is, first, he closes the racket. The racket is facing the ground, and then as he comes to the ball, the racket opens by itself. And actually, I seen it in slow motion, the racket turning from the impact. He doesn't have it tight. It turns, but he's coming across the ball, way across. He actually hits it below the center. Do a few.
Okay.
Let me see you do that. Exactly, very good. So I'm going to feed you a few balls.
Okay.
And just crack it, yeah. Good. You see it as you're pulling the arm in. You actually, what Federer does in some of the other top pros like Andre Agassi did also, is the body goes to the left. It doesn't go into the ball. They think about, they say step into the ball. They actually go across and pull this way, and you can see if you're filming from behind that their body has moved, a couple of feet to the left.
Absolutely.
Even Sampras did that, and most of the top players do. And that is very good also when you're running, because you get here and then you pull and you're covering the court a little bit more.
Now, what about Nadal, who they tend to say he falls off the shot a lot, where he's coming, kind of like that, but a little more backwards even. Is that wrong?
No, it's pulling the arm up like that. The only thing, he doesn't have the penetration that Roger Federer has, but he does have so much topspin that it makes the ball very difficult for that player. But sometimes he goes like this, over here, depending on the shot, depending whether he's playing more defensive shot or he's playing a more aggressive shot, in the end that he was more penetrating. One of the things that these players do is, if you look at the racket here, the racket is facing the ground and then it opens. You were just doing before. Go ahead, see? That's it. See, the racket closes back here and then opens by itself, which is great because as the racket is coming into the contact, the players hit below the center. They don't hit in the center, they hit way below, and then as it comes into contact, this side is coming in contact, so it gives you more power. The old topspin, which was going this other way, this side separated a little bit, went backwards a little bit, so you get less power. Modern topspin is the racket closed and it opens a little bit and comes across. But the key is coming across. This is why I compare tennis with martial arts. Because in martial arts, if you're going to hit here, when you get here, you pull it. Also when you break piece of wood, you're going down here and then you pull it.
Pulling versus pushing.
Trying to go through.
Right.
Yeah, the guys don't go through to break the wood or the bricks. They get there and then they pull it towards them very hard. But the change of direction is the acceleration.
Right.
Because there was no acceleration this way. And here the same. All the acceleration as you're going towards the ball, although a lot of the top players, especially Federer, go slow to the ball, but all the acceleration occurs sideways, across like this. There's a lot more power. Here, extend your arms a little bit. Okay, push my finger. See, there's no power there. But grab my finger in my hand. Yeah. Here is where the power is, right here in the biceps, the triceps. It connects your body, to the impact, and you get a lot more speed on the ball.
That's why you see some extremities of players hitting a ball and maybe even ending up like this.
Absolutely. That's the key.
Yep.
Really, now we should show what to do, to recuperate from a stroke and how you hit when you're on the run.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you're on the run and you have to continue running, you try to finish the shot anyway. But this is the way. I do it with this cone. This is what I taught in Spain and was so successful. You put this cone, you make people run, hit and turn, and actually they stop on the outside foot and they pull it back in. See? So let me do a few from here and then I'm going to feed you balls from right there. Now you're going to turn around the cone and just come over here and just hit up. That's the way. So people should notice how you're stopping on this foot and coming across like this to aid your arm. Good, now go down the line, same thing. Really pull across. That's what you're going to make the shot safe. Pull across, across. There you go. That's it. The minute you steer it, you're in trouble. Across. There you go. See, you steer a little bit. Across the ball, so it gets more spin.
Oh, that's not enough. So even more.
A lot more. There you go. So your arm has to come to your left. Good. More. Find it and to your left. Good. Very well done.